Cool story, Hansel. Cool story, Hansel.
I would just say build a better deck.
Hello, boobies.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, good for you.
Welcome to the CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
Hey, we got a first week in like 3 weeks that I'm not all delayed. Knock on wood.
You're right. You're right.
This is episode 362, right? 362, yeah, 362.
Yep. That you have it on the thumbnail, so that is what it is at this point.
What do we have in store for our episode tonight, Mr. Lowry? There.
In anticipation, I've been playing a lot of Matchbox cars with my son, and it is Aetherdrift. Set review. Shut up. That was yeah. All right. Yeah, we're gonna be doing top 5 legends for each of us and fave 5 cards from the set of Aetherdrift. Adam is so on the set.
I'm not saying I hate it. Like, I like that we get vehicles. I've always wanted to have a vehicle commander, and then I say that, and then okay. I don't pick a vehicle commander at all. Like, I'm not even like, there isn't one here that I'm like, oh, this one's one I want to play. So, I like that we have more of those, but the set itself feels to me. But you seem more excited. You seem more excited.
I am. I actually really liked a lot of the uncommons, which was ridiculous.
You said that in text, and so then I was like, okay, I haven't picked any uncommons. I'm gonna look at them. I'm like, I
don't see what he's seeing. That's all right.
I will say it's not on my list. There is one that I do like, that we have another target green card that gives your a permanent hexproof and indestructible. I like that we got another one drop of those, which is really nice because I like those. But the uncommons, you're gonna have to. Is it on your list? Do you have uncommons on your list?
So I don't know. This is a loose list. It's always a loose list.
Loosey goosey. And then we
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know.
Why'd you say it like that?
I don't know. And then we have Stump the Smith Savant with a Discord member. Sal Marnez is going to be trying to stump you. So this is week number 2. For those of you that remember last week, Tad did win the Great Henge, the foil one. So we have a new raffle that is up for grabs.
What is that?
And this is the foil Chrome Mox. So
that's ridiculous.
Yep, this is in pristine condition. And
double masters.
Yep, double masters. I just have a little paper here to remind me where I got it from. So it's not actually that little top part there. Anyways, so foil here, 140. What we get up to once we hit that, we'll draw a name, and whoever we draw gets this card. So.
And we also take a shot of Malort with that as well, and I think that's the true prize for everybody.
Yeah, the Malort. What's up, Mr. Anderson? Yeah, so every dollar that you guys donate during our live stuff goes to this, and I should say during our podcast, not when we're separate. It's only when we're together. When we're together is the only time that you guys can do the donation stuff. I mean, you can donate when we're not together, but that won't go towards this. So every dollar gets you entered, and then we'll put that, basically every entry is whatever. So every dollar is an entry. Am I explaining that right? So if there's 140 entries, there we go. So 140 entries, your name takes up, for every dollar, takes up a slot. There we go. That works. Okay. So
a loose slot. So gross. I mean, not gross. I mean, that's...
I don't.
It is what it is.
So a couple show note changes. So we're finally back to Monday today, and then we aren't going to be next week because I'm going to be out of town. We hitting the slopes in Colorado, so I'll be at Vail. Actually, is on Mondays when I'll be
Oh,
Thank you.
good for you.
So
There we go.
I'll be snowboarding with Trombley and Jeremy, and then Trombley's brother-in-law. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully, I might be behind that secret layer on the slopes. I don't know. I got to see if I can teach my wife how to work the secret layer site. Or I might be texting you and be like, Lowry, save me. Buy me a bundle.
I mean, so in
Speaking of,
in that case, we are going to be recording Friday night as well for next week, and we will probably release that over the weekend.
Yep.
Audio wise.
And video will go out obviously on Friday. So
yeah.
and that'll be
try and get it out before the actual secret layer, which is next Monday. So get it on your calendars if you are so inclined.
Yeah, and it'll be on the secret layer, like you said. Like we're gonna break down. We did already do the Hatsune Miku one, and we already got spoiled 2 more so far this week. So we're assuming all 5 will be done by Friday. Sometimes they spoil 1 over the weekend, but for the most part, they get the beer and pizza of the drop out by Friday. So, so that is that. Let's get to tags really quick, because then we can just kind of get into this episode here. Because these tend to be a while. We got 20 cards we're going to be talking about, and there are new stuff, new mechanics
I'm
stuff.
going
So
to steal all the ones that you have on your list.
are you drinking booze today? Oh, so
No, just water.
So you're not going to be fun.
No.
Just kidding.
No.
Okay, so really quick, the way to support us, you click this video to watch it. If you're watching this right now, the simple thing is just do the same thing. Reach over, hit that little thumb that's there, and click the like. And if you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. But most of the people that watch our podcast on there are pretty much subscribed. But we need all of you, because there's a lot of you that are watching that don't hit that like. It's easy. You hit the video to watch this, so just hit that. The thing is, it actually helps us out. It helps other people see the video as well. So it's I know you hear it all the time from everybody, but seriously, it does help us out. It helps the algorithms and all that stuff. Financially, the way you guys can support us, $1 gets you in the Discord. That's actually the best way to financially support us, if you get in the Discord, because then we also get to talk to you and all that. But that's directly going into us using the funds for the show. So the cameras, that's how we're able to do the Commander games and all that stuff. But $5, oh shit. Guy, 40. All right. Somebody wants that Chrome Mox right there.
There we go,
The
Guy.
foil Chrome Mox is up for grabs. So also, that was the other thing, is financially supporting us too, is jump on these live and donate. If you're trying to win the raffle, you gotta be in the live.
Was it always Guy Incognito Jr.? Did he add the junior, or is that his son?
he
that's
has
like 7 years old.
No, he has the.
Is he already better at computers than I am?
Probably. All right, so I got Guy written down, so I'm keeping track of this for
sure.
all
Thanks
that
a ton.
purposes. Okay, so financially, that's the way you guys can support us, is jump on $1 gets you in the Discord, $5 gets you proxies. Like, let's show off one of these. This is the Stump the Smiths Savant prize right now. So Iron Man in the comic book form. So the higher you move on those, we give that as a little prize to you guys, or a present each month if you want. And then the other way you guys can financially support us is check out our store, which is on my eBay page. We've actually sold a couple mugs recently because, I don't know, people are finding it, I guess. Or the Commander video is doing pretty good. And we also
go check that out.
Yeah, check out the Commander video. But we have Yeti mugs, which we're both drinking out of right now. So these are 22 ounce. So this fits basically, if you take 2 beers. What is a beer?
Yeah, beers.
Beers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that plural beer is just beer.
Beers.
Let's have some beer.
That's what I like to say. Deers.
Mug life.
I know.
Look at that guy. He's
Red Squirrel with the mug life.
He's from Detroit. He knows that mug life.
But yeah, so this is probably
Detroit
our big one there. But then the metal tokens that we have, the custom metal tokens, which has the kill him on the backside, so you can use it. We use it all the time. Every Commander game we play, including the one that we recorded, features the kill him token. So there's that, and then our playmats as well. So those are all the ways you guys can financially support us. If you want to get a hold of us, you guys can check us out by emailing us at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com, or if you're part of the Discord, that's the easiest way. So join the Discord. $1 gets you in there. All right, that's it. That's all our tags. Let's move on to our... Oh, you know what? I do want to show this really quick. So I did put up a little poll last week.
You had a boner. You don't have to call it that.
I mean, I didn't put that up. It just happens. The poll I put up last week is which route are you taking with the Aetherdrift Commander precons?
Mm-hmm.
So I had both of our precons that we both of us did, and then I had singles or not at all. So we had almost 100 votes on that. 34%, you know, that wasn't the highest actually, but 34% went for Eternal Might precon, which was the zombie one. I did see a lot of people, I think Bill from Woodbury, a bunch of people messaged that they were able to get this cheaper than that $70 mark on Amazon. Amazon and some stores were doing some deals if you bought both of them. So this one, you know, it's getting a lot of love. You have Living Energy had 9%. Singles was actually the most, which is the route we're probably both going, is picking up the singles. That's at 36%. And then 21% said they'd pass on it altogether. So that's probably about right, I think.
That's about right.
What I was thinking. So, all right, let's get into it. We're going to start with Commanders, right? Yes, Commanders.
Yes.
So what we're doing here is anything from the set proper and the Commander decks. And we're doing Fae 5. We don't know each other's lists. And we're going to pick which ones we want to build, or maybe not even build. Maybe it's a cool card that'll fit in a bunch of other decks.
Right. We can be a little loose on this, but
yeah. So I'm going to start off by saying I liked my Commander deck I worked on. And actually, it's probably the two that are in there are probably the things I'm most excited to actually build. I don't know. I feel like I have to take the one because you might take the other one. So I'm going to take the really popular one at this point just because I might lose it to you.
You know what? I did my normal rule of not taking from the precons because we already kind of talked about them.
Right, but I didn't like anything else in the set. So
I understand. I understand what we're doing here.
Yeah,
it's fine. So you got two.
So
you got two at least.
Yeah, so I got Hashaton Scarab's Fist. I actually do like this card.
For sure.
It seems like a really fun way to play.
RoboCop's all about it.
Yeah, I mean it's a good card. It's $21 at this point. But
how much?
$21 at this point.
All right.
There's actually on my list. There's some other cards in the Commander deck there's one that I missed. That's $40 out of the Commander deck at this point. One of the new cards. Anyways, we'll get to that later. But it's one white, one black, 1/3. Oh, really quick. Before I get into everything, I do want to talk about the two new mechanics in this, and it's not here, but it's in the other cards. But the exhaust, what exhaust is for those that don't know it.
We'll get to that.
Well, you think we just get to it on a card? You just want to do it that way? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We can get that then. All right. So it's one white, one black for a 1/3 zombie wizard. Whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 2 colors and a blue. If you do, create a tap token, and that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. I talked about this last week when we did the pre-con stuff, but it seems really fun. Like, you could build around massive creature, not massive. You don't have to have big creatures because they're going to be 4/4 zombies, but you can use creatures that are going to have a lot of abilities that cost a lot and have a way of discarding. I mean, you're working with black, you're working with blue with drawing cards, discarding cards. It's very easy to be able to discard with those colors and just cheat out stuff or get a benefit. Like if you're cycling, you're not getting madness as much because that's a red thing, but cycling you're going to definitely get. And I just think there's a lot of avenues you could do with this, and I like that. I don't like a commander that's like, this is how you build it and this is the way you got to go. Like, this seems like this can go a lot of different ways, and so there's a lot
of option.
Yeah, tickles my fancy there. So we're not from Chicago. We're in Minnesota, but I don't remember who is the one that turned you on to. Not turned you on, but
my buddy Shay.
Yeah,
he gave me a bottle for Christmas a couple years ago, and he was just like, here, nobody wants to drink this with me. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll take that. And then I was like, I understand
this is
why nobody wants to drink it with you. And then it just became our thing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's I like this one. I think it's a cool commander. I don't know of the two that I will talk about because the other one's going to be the other guy. I actually think I like the other one better of what I would want to do, but this one seems like a lot of fun. I picked this one first because I thought it could have been on your list, but I forgot that you won't hit up the commander decks. So
I would have if I was as desperate as you were, but I'm happy with the set quite a bit. So,
all right, well, let's talk about your first one. Yep.
Right, the one that I'm building, I basically have pulled all my cards at this point, found an angle for it, but it's Ketramos, the new god. It's 1 in a black and a white for a 4/4 indestructible lifelink menace. The new Dawn, sorry, not the new god, but it can't attack or block unless there are 7 or more cards in exile, and whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile from the graveyards and or battlefield during your turn, you draw a card and lose a life. I don't know. I just really like this. I like that it's fairly unique. It probably feels a little bit like Sir Conrad, but that's dealing damage to everybody, whereas this is getting you to draw a card. Also, they're different for sure, but I like this in 2 colors, indestructible, protecting your commander. It's cheap to come out.
It's evasive.
And then you get to play some really good cards already if you so wish, like Swords of Plowshare, Path to Exile, and just get a bonus off of it. Or you can be like exiling from the graveyard. You can be just, it feels like it's a control deck that's going to draw you cards you're never going to run out, and then you're just going to be able to beat face. I'm excited for this. It still has a lot of work to do because you can have one thing was just like, I was like, should I be milling to be able to pick off people's graveyards or steal, do some reanimation from it, or there's just a lot of things going on. I think I've settled on something, but we'll see if that's going to happen next week or the week after or whatever. But that'll be a fun one to build, I think. How much is this going for right now?
Yeah, it's $20. It's $20. So he's one of the most expensive.
I got to talk to Aaron here. Aaron. So Rest in Peace and Leyline of the Void are not MVPs, unfortunately. So there is a difference for Ketramos because what it's saying is that it has to be exiled from the battlefield or the graveyard. And so essentially what it is those cards are replacement effects, which state instead. So it never goes to the graveyard to be exiled. So it will not trigger in that regard.
It will.
That's kind of the weird thing about it.
But you and I were texting about it.
Right.
The only thing it will do is the initial when you play.
So
the card.
When Rest in Peace comes into play and exiles everything, that would work.
Yeah, but you're only
when it comes to cards going into graveyards, both of those are replacement effects and won't work for the draw.
Yeah. So you only get that one time, boom, it happens. But yeah, what you're saying is there is a replacement. And you just came about it because you knew that, or was it their discussion?
Well, we were kind of discussing it in the Discord if you want to become a patron. But yeah, we were in the spoiler part, maybe in the deck building part. Like we kind of went off and we were talking about it. We kind of figured it out that's kind of what is happening there. It is 1 per turn or 1 per time. So if you exile a bunch of cards from a graveyard, you're still only triggering it once. When Leyline is down, it will go from battlefield to exile. That might be true. I'd have to think about that. I'm not reading the card specifically right now, but
you want me to pull up Leyline at all, or
what's that?
Do you want me to pull up Leyline?
No, I don't. I couldn't. So I'd probably have to think about it and talk about it a little bit. Maybe that might be the way that it goes. Because if that's the way that it goes,
when Leyline is down, it will go from the battlefield to exile.
Yeah. Because it's not dying, but it'd be exiled instead. And so from the battlefield to exile, that makes sense. I believe that.
Yeah, because he's pointing out that it's battlefield or graveyard. Yeah. So
it'd be if you're killing a creature on the graveyard or just anything. If you're destroying something and then it'd be essentially going into exile from the battlefield. Yeah. So yeah, that does make sense. Okay. All right.
So you might be adding those in?
Yeah, I might be adding those back in. Because that was my initial feeling too. And then we kind of worked it out the other way. But So
Yeah.
milling doesn't work with it at all,
No.
but
Yep.
that's
Uh,
fine too. So
yeah.
it's a really, really cool guy. I'm excited to be building it.
I think it's
It'll
like
be
the
fun either
third
way.
most popular card in the set, third or fourth most popular card. So
Yeah. How much is this going for right now?
20
And
bucks.
I'm not going to
20
be happy.
bucks. 20 bucks.
20 bucks? Yeah, not happy.
Yeah.
I want it to be a $10 card.
Well,
How about that?
wait for the set to come out, and I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it's a 3 drop for all the stuff that it does. Like, it's kind of crazy what it's all doing for 3.
I think there's a lot of hype for it for Commander, but I think it's going to be relative. Oh, the other angle is blanking. So if you're blanking it, that is another type of exiling, which would also allow you to draw cards off it as well. So there is definitely a couple different angles that you can go with it.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be going with a mix of blinking with some other type of exiling. So
Nice. All right. So I know you're not going to pick that one, so I might as well go after ones that I I know that
you're worried about.
Yeah, that I could. Okay, I'm going to pick one that I just like in general that's not going to be a commander.
Okay.
But I think this could be used in a lot of decks. Even though we're dealing with energy in this one, but it's the Nissa, the new Nissa. Come on, Nissa, pull up. Give me a sec. But it's Nissa World Soul Speaker. Come on, internet. Let's get this going. World.
What is
Oh, here.
going on?
I got 3
Yeah.
cards here that you can't see any of them.
Well, this is one that I wanted to talk about, but it just was. It's
Oh, there we go. All right.
kind of specific.
Yeah,
so
well, kind of, but at the same point, it isn't. If you think about it,
you're right.
I'm
I'm not going to think about it hard.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that you're not thinking about it. I'm just saying in general, to when I'm talking to people in general, 3 and 1 green for an Elf Druid, 3/3. It has landfall, Lowry's favorite evergreen mechanic or
Bored of it
ability. You're bored. Whenever a land you control, because you didn't get it in the ability tournament, that's why you don't like it anymore. Well, whenever a land you control enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy, and then you may pay, or not even then, it's just you may pay 8 energy rather than pay the mana cost for permanent spells you cast. So we play with fetches. This is gonna happen basically with 2 fetches going. You go boom, your fetch comes in, you get 2, you do the fetch, you get a land, you have 4, you do it again, and now you're casting something for free from your hand. And it's not a creature, it's not specific to creatures, it's to permanents, it's anything in your hand that's a permanent. I just think this is a great card, not just in landfall, it can go in any kind of deck. So and it's not just an energy deck. That's the thing I wanted to get at, is this doesn't just have to be energy. This can go in a lot of green decks. If you have enough fetches in the deck, and it doesn't have to be in just a landfall deck. I mean, that works, but if you're playing the right amount of fetches and playing lands every turn, you're going to start throwing stuff out there for free. Things that are freaking beaters.
Right. I mean, if you're able to put lands into play and you don't necessarily care about landfall, I do agree with what you're saying here. I mean, normally you do want your curve to be a bit higher as well. So that's probably why you're playing a lot more lands and having that stuff happen. But because you don't want to pay 8 energy to put out like a 4/4.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you do want it to be higher on the curve when you're cheating stuff into play. And that's Aaron was talking about Eldrazi. I'm like, yeah, that makes
Eldrazi.
sense to me.
Yeah, he's saying that a coworker was talking about making an Eldrazi deck with this one. That could be
I
interesting.
think that'd be really cool. I mean, Eldrazi are fucking cool.
Yeah.
Come on, why not?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm not going to build this as a commander, but I like her as just going in. If I have a lot of fetch lands or a lot of land drop in, like, for example, my Daryl deck, my Blanca deck, my Storm deck, and my Black Panther deck all have a lot of land drops. There's a lot of finding land, getting land into play. Those would be ideal places. Probably not Storm. I've been taking back Storm because Storm is a spell slinger, so that one kind of X-nays because it has to be a permanent. But the other 3, it works perfect. Well, no, I'm taking back Blanca because Blanca's also a spell slinger. So I'm back down to 2. But that's 2 that I could.
Do I have? I don't have that. You want to hit your own buttons
Which one?
with the wah wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
I named off 4 and
Thank
then I
you.
eliminated 2. Yep.
Yep.
So
It's gonna be good in half the decks that I think it might be good in.
exactly. So
The hallmark of an amazing card.
all right. So that
When
is
you want to shove it in everything, and you're like, doesn't work here.
Doesn't
actually.
work,
Nope,
doesn't-
no, not
it's
quite.
going here. It's going here. It's going. Oh, damn it! Take it out of here. Take it out of here. That doesn't make sense. All right, Larry. What is your second card or legendary creature?
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave loot for you. I'm assuming he's on your list.
No, I don't have loot. Pick him,
Okay,
pick
I'll
him.
go with loot then.
'Cause I
I'm gonna
didn't-
go with loot.
All right. Yeah.
The Pathfinder, 2 and a green and a blue and a red for a 2/4 beast noble, has double strike, vigilance, and haste, and then it has a new mechanic called exhaust.
There we go. We
which
can talk
means-
about exhaust.
Yeah, see that I figured one of us would do it. That's why I thought you were doing it because you mentioned exhaust.
Yeah, I don't
so,
have any really exhaust ones. Oh, I do later.
but it's has 3 abilities. One is green, tap loot, add 3 mana of any one color, and activate each exhaust ability only once. So if you've used the ability, you can no longer use it
Unless you
on this
blink it.
creature on that one. Yep, I was going to say that, but if you blink it or return it or whatever and play it again, you get to redo it because it is a new permanent, and the exhaust is not kind of put on that. So the green one is 3 mana, the blue one is draw 3 cards, and the red one is deal 3 damage to any target. It does have haste. This seems like a really cool card. Like,
yeah.
probably gonna be. I mean, it is 6 mana in Commander,
Right.
where you like drop it, do its thing, and then
5 to come out. Is that what you're saying?
well, it's 5 to come out, but
then
one to
to
do the
do-
ability.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would not play this without having mana open for at least one of the abilities.
Right. The reason I went away from this is like I was thinking of it as a commander because we're talking about 3 colors,
Mhm.
and I was like, I don't see how I build around it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
a little too generic.
in a way, I mean, it's doing a lot of good stuff. Like, if you have these
Right.
3 colors that you're playing with, yeah, fit that in there. That's a perfect card. Whatever deck you're playing that has these 3 colors, shove that sucker in there. But as the
Calm down.
but as the face commander, I don't like it as much because it's just like you use those abilities, and what do they do? What's your theme of your deck? What is what do you do?
I can agree with that angle of like the theme is going to be kind of tough. I guess you can pick one of them and just get value out of it, or you can pick anything and just think that loot's going to be a value engine at the end of the game
Right.
a little bit.
Yeah. So
I get what you're saying,
but I think he's a good card. Don't get me wrong. I think he's great, and that's why the
is
price
6
point
too much mana to want this as just like a value card within your deck?
No, I mean it does a lot. I mean, you have kind of removal on it with the damage. The drawing for 1 is fantastic, and the ramp, yeah, it does
Yeah,
a
but
lot. But yeah,
How about,
you're only getting
okay,
1
you pay
each.
5, it comes down, you attack with 2/4 double strike, and it has the vigilance, so you do your attack thing, you hope that somebody's open to be able to not kill loot, and then you use an ability at the best time, because that's kind of the scenario right there.
Yeah.
I probably agree with you that I don't know if I like it as a commander. I don't know if I like it as a 99. I hate this card now. There we go. See ya.
Wasted your pick. You're gonna make
Bye-bye.
so many people mad because so many people love loot.
No, I think loot is really cool.
Yeah,
So
I-
I think it's a great value engine.
Yeah.
But I agree that the theme thing is a little off.
Yep. All right. So we got that. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do this one. I came across this one. I'm going through the list again to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I don't think you'll pick this one, but I dig this one. Again, this is gonna be a one that isn't gonna be necessarily it could be a commander, but it's mono. I don't like doing mono colors.
Okay.
But I do like this one, the Speed Demon. So this is 3 colors and 2 black. It's a flying trample demon, flying 5/5 trample demon. It has start your engines. Hey, we get to talk about start your engines. So I thought
we go.
start your engines was a lot better than I was thinking. You know, when we talked about it in the Discord, it was like we were trying to figure out what it was when we were first getting the spoilers. I
Okay.
thought that. Okay, let me read what it says. If you have no speed, it starts at 1. It increases once each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Max speed is 4. So in my head, I was like, oh, if I do 1 damage to that opponent, and that opponent. At the end of my turn, it hits 4. It doesn't matter how many opponents you hit. It's only going to go up 1 each of your turns.
So it's a Blood Chief Ascension, essentially.
Right. You're right, exactly. Which
situation
I was
that we ran into
so long. We played that wrong for so long.
Yeah.
But so on a lot of the start your engine cards, it feels like garbage because it takes 4 turns or 3 turns. Like you get the 1, and if you can hit them, then you get 1 there, and then 2, and then 3. So 3 turns for it to reach its max potential. With this, the ability is at the beginning of your end step, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is your speed. So right away, you're getting 1, you're drawing 1, you're losing a life. Every time you're doing damage, you're going to draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Then the next time you're going to draw 3 cards and lose like that. The benefit to this seems very high.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd play this as necessarily the commander, but again, a 99. Hell yeah.
I can totally. In my mind, I felt like this was a really good Blood Gift Demon. Like 5 mana, 5, that's 5/4 flying.
Yeah.
This one has trample, and it has the upscale of drawing more cards. I mean, I think you get this going at 2. I mean, it could still happen because if an opponent loses life, you get to add onto the max speed.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter if it's this or anything else,
Right.
or an opponent having them lose life, or a fetch. So as long as it's just once per turn, you get the max speed it up, right?
Yeah, but it can only happen on your turn.
Oh, it is your turn.
You
Okay.
can't do
All
it
right.
on everybody else's turn. So it's because
All
it
right.
says on
don't-
each of your turns. When
Keep getting
There we go.
so
That's a me. That's
so
a me.
That's a
button.
me, Mario. It's a me, Lowry. So that's why start your engines. It feels like a cool idea, but at the same point, I'm like, it feels so slow. It feels so slow because at the fastest you can get it to hit max speed is 3 turns. You know, you can't do it any faster than that. Because if you play another card that has start your engines, it doesn't add to it. You know, it's not like, oh, you played another card with start your engines, now we go up to 2. It's saying if you don't already have this, it goes to 1, you know, and then you need to deal damage, and it goes to 2, and then boom, boom, boom. Yeah, and then Red Squirrel says it's a worse 1 ring with extra steps.
For sure. I don't think you want cards that are better than the 1 ring at this
Right,
point, though,
yeah,
either.
right.
Like, let's let power creep happen naturally.
Yeah.
He's saying 4 turns, but I
Well-
believe when it comes down and you deal damage, that'll put you at 2 max
Yeah.
speed on the first turn.
Yeah.
And then the next one is the upkeep, and then the upkeep trigger. It doesn't. I mean, if
I
you
mean,
hit
it
them on the
happens-
second turn, it'd
what-
go to
what-
4, right?
What he is saying though is that the effect happens at the end of turn. So really you don't get to benefit on your 3rd turn the max speed until your turn is done. So then really your max speed starts on everybody else's turn, if you get what I'm saying. With this it'll work.
Okay.
Right? Because you're gonna add the counter on, you're gonna stack it so it works right, and then you're gonna draw the cards. So you're gonna get
Right.
4 cards, which is nice. I like that this is the end step too, because you immediately get a benefit from this entering the battlefield. So I
which
really
is
like that.
which is not. I mean, a lot better than Blood Gift Demon as well. Blood Gift Demon used to be playable. Now I don't even think it was reprinted in the Master set. That's
it tells you something.
I don't remember it in there.
Yeah,
But yeah, the Speed Demon's pretty cool. I agree. It was kind of on my list. Next one that I want to talk about. This one's pretty cool, but Mendicant Core, MENDI.
MEND can't
MENDI
DI.
can't.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I thought you might like this guy.
Yeah. Mendicant Core Guide Light, white and a blue, star 3 robot. Its power is equal to the number of artifacts you control. It has start your engines, which we just kind of went over. And then also it has the max speed. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay. It's not like an upkeep.
Woo.
It's just what?
My everything volume just went
bogged down.
dropped out.
All right, we're done. Night, folks.
I gotta make sure the audio is going back to. Okay, now it's. Sorry about the live stuff. The live stuff went kind of crazy there for a second. I got a bunch of notifications that are. saying, but people that are on, just tell us if our audio sounds fine now, because it dropped out for a second there. But anyways,
All right.
continue what
Should
you're
I
saying.
reread it? I don't know.
No, it dropped out
Okay.
for like 3 seconds. So
I just like the idea. It's a white blue, perfect in artifacts. It can be a huge beater, and then also on top of that, copying artifacts for value is going to be really good. I like making copies.
making copies, but it's gonna take you 3 turns. Sorry, I don't mean the start your engines thing. It got really. I thought it was really cool. It dropped out for 2 seconds. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I thought it was so cool. I was like, okay, you could do this. You just got to attack everybody, and we can get your max speed right away. But it bugs me a little bit that it takes 3 turns.
Well, I
to
mean,
get
like,
there.
it does seem that max speed is fairly playable in a lot of different decks. So it's not just potentially going to have one. They have to be good on their own type of thing. But, like, there's lands with max speed in them. And so if you have 3-4 things, you can drop this and have it max speed right away, right?
No, because max
speed is just for that specific card?
Well, no. It is for everything, but the thing is,
Okay.
is like they don't stack, so you don't like it doesn't add to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You play this,
But if you're already at max speed,
And
this
nothing
can
ha-
come down
right, yes,
and you have max speed.
yeah, but you have to have something that it's initiating the speed. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Start
right.
the engine.
And I was just saying, you have lands in here.
Right.
You got a handful of pretty good, like, max speed kind of cards.
right.
And so it doesn't necessarily just have to be that one, but you also probably need a handful of cards to
I guess what I'm getting
kinda
at
make it
is
be.
I wish it was more like the Undercity and the dungeons, where when you played the card, you go to the dungeon, and if you if you're able to flicker that card and it comes in again, you move along in the dungeon. Where this is, you play it, it starts your engines. It doesn't matter if you play another card that has start your engines in it. It's just now it's all on damage. Basically, the start your engines to get it started. Then after that, it's hitting people. Making
Yeah.
sure you're doing damage. I do like that because it reminds me of the Monarch and all that stuff, where it's kind of forcing you to attack in a way. It's like, hey, the only
Mhm.
way you're going to increase this is by doing damage or having loss of life on the board on your turn. It isn't a other people's turn type of thing. So I like that part, but I don't like that you can't cast spells that have start
To
your
add more
engines to
stuff
add
to it.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of cool to do it that way. City's Blessing. Yep. That's another way to think about it. So I like this one though. If you have max speed, yeah, I dig it. But then I think
it's cheap enough, especially as your
Yeah,
commander. Like, you get this out on turn 2, turn 5, you're doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not be have them lose life that first turn though too, but it still feels like you're gonna get plenty of value out of it in the game too.
I can dig it.
So
I can dig it.
ah,
All right.
wow.
Okay, so I'm on. This is my 4th one, right? Yeah, I'm on 4.
Yes.
Because I already said I was gonna do the zombie one. Let me just hit up one more. I do like that other god, but it's just so Simic blue green. I don't think I'm not gonna pick it because it just seems so.
I'm not. I wasn't a huge fan
it's,
of it.
It's good. Don't get me wrong, but it reminds me of all the other blue green. Like, hey, let's draw tons of cards and do good shit. So I'm gonna pick, and I didn't like this originally, but it's growing on me a little bit. It's the Mimnoplasm dude. Because I think you can do some kind of cool stuff with this guy. So it's black, green, blue, and X. It's a 0/0 ooze. And as it enters, you can exile up to X creature cards from your graveyard. It enters with 3/1/1 counters on it for each creature card exiled this way. You can tap 2. It becomes a copy of a target creature exiled with it, except it's a 0/0 and has this ability. So, like, there's some cool, like, if you're able to exile things that work together, or, I guess how I would build this, the reason why I put this on my list more so is you have graveyard decks. I don't have one where it's like trying to shove things into the graveyard and play from my graveyard. That's how I would build this one. I'd build it as in put in cool creature cards with cool different abilities, get the graveyard filled up before casting the Plasm out, and having maybe some of their mechanics work together, like tapping abilities. I don't know. Like it seems like you can do some broken stuff with this. I did hear some other casts talk about you can do things like infinite combos. We don't like doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
But you could definitely do things like that with this. It feels like, again, the options are endless. It's the thing that's going to be similar is you're trying to fill your graveyard up. But the thing is that's going to be different is what creatures, what things are you going to put in there to do some bonkers stuff. And so that's what I'm kind of liking with this. I don't necessarily think I'll build this one, but it is a potential. I think I like the options of this one. So I didn't like it at first, and it's grown on me, basically. So this one came in late for me as a commander potential. I think my last one is one that I might actually build. That's what we talked about before. So do you have any pluses or minuses?
I'm indifferent on it.
Indifferent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I was up until it was just like, oh, this could be a cool one because you have played I don't have a graveyard deck. And so that's what drew me. And I was like, this would be something that's out of something that I've done before. So that's kind of why I went with that one. Okay, so what is your 4th overall legendary creature?
It's a homunculus.
Oh, you went with that one. I wasn't sure if we would get that guy in there.
Vinwexed. I'll go with that. You just add vowels in there, right? VNWXT.
Which one is he? No, what is his name?
VNWXT.
WXT. There we go.
Verbose host. 1 in a blue, 0/4 homunculus. Start your engines. So it has that whole thing that we're talking about. You have no maximum hand size, and then if you would draw a card, draw 2 cards instead. And so I just really like that effect. I really like, Teferi's Ageless Insight, Alhamrat's Archive, and just adding this to. I'm not saying that I'd build this, but I think it's probably going to make it into some of my decks that want to be drawing a bunch of cards. So like when you're looting, you draw 2, discard a card. You know what I mean? Instead of just draw 1, discard. If you would draw a card, draw 2 cards. Brainstorm gets you 6. Like that gets to be really, really good.
But,
you know what I mean?
So I guess the reason why I steered away is like we have cards like this in a way, but doesn't have the start your engines part of it. Like Teferi's Ageless Insight type of thing.
Right. I like that. I like those cards, and so I'm happy that this exists.
There's more.
I'd rather, because right now I have like Alhamrat's Archive and Ageless Insight, and I'd probably rather just have Ageless Insight in this. And so it's kind of a replacement for the Archive, unless I have like life gain in the deck as well. So generally, I'll put those cards into stuff that is a looting style deck, like Simone and Dina, or I probably have one more right now. But like, I would have really liked this in Takasia when I still had that. And so I just like this added in. I'll try it again. I'm excited to try it. I'll put it into a bunch of decks, and then we'll see if it actually can replace the part of. Like, this is going to be crazy in Rafine. Like, doubling the cards that you're drawing, it's going to be able to block for days. It'll come down early if you draw it. But, if you don't want to play it and it's not going to do anything for you, you can just discard in the deck. It doesn't matter. So I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I think this is pretty solid.
I'm gonna get on it again. The start your engines thing throws me off because it's like you get it out there. And then you gotta wait. Like that's the thing that's throwing me off.
But still having an 0/4 that's gonna be able to block. I can see it being
but
late game not very good.
Yeah, unless you have other things that started the engine, like then you're fine.
Right.
But how much are we?
So I can see this being a little brutal if it's in the 99 late game. But you got cards that are gonna be like that.
Yep.
And so sometimes they're sometimes the card's just not going to work at the time that you draw it.
Hey, Lowry.
That's
I would just say build a better deck.
Nope. Force what you want and then complain about other people
not getting the card draw.
the best way to do it.
And I don't mean to be. I'm not hating on your pick, by the way. I'm hating on the start your engines because I think the start your engines are on so many cards, and I don't think it's as good as everybody like sees. Like
I'm
everybody's
excited
like,
for it.
this is
why
gonna be
you don't
awesome.
like the set because you don't like half the cards.
Right.
You're like, no, I don't like this.
Because it's gonna take forever to get it. Like I know we're a commander and it whatever.
No. It says speed on it. It's gonna happen quickly. All right.
Is that how it works? All right. Sorry.
That is how words work. Yeah. If it says something, you believe it.
All right.
Up front. You don't try and project out the reality.
You sound like my parents with the internet. If it's on the internet, it's got to be true. All right.
Gotta be true.
I'm gonna talk about the card that I talked about in my the commander deck, but I really do like this card, Temet. Oh God, you hit the button last time too. Wait.
Preemptive strike.
Nactamoons. Whatever.
You just say it with confidence. You'll
All
be
right.
fine.
Tammet will. That's what we'll say. It's almost two colorless, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black for a zombie wizard, 4/4 vigilance menace. Whenever you attack, draw a card and then discard a card. Whenever you draw a card, zombies you control get 1/1 until end of turn. If you really want a big breakdown of this, we did the commander decks last week, so check that video out. But I will say, like, this seems like a lot of fun. Like doing the breakdown of those decks and doing the budget upgrades and all that stuff. You get to know your commanders a little bit more, and I think that there's a lot of things that you can do with that deck. Doing the surprise, instant speed draw. You just have, zombies are easy. Zombies are one of the most popular played tribal creatures in the game. There's a lot of them out there. You can do a lot of fun stuff. 3 colors, love it because you got a lot of options here. I just think this one's fun. I think this one's a surprise thing. You can either use it offensive or defensive because you get the 1/1 anytime you're drawing. So if you are like, I'm just gonna sit back and somebody's out of control, they're gonna not attack you because the threat of drawing cards and your stuff getting bigger. Or you're swinging with a bunch of 2/2s and they're like, well, block this and that, and then you pump them to 7. There's just some crazy stuff. Again, check out that video that we did last week where I kind of broke this down a little bit more. But this is one out of everything I've talked about, and I know it's on the commander deck, but I would build that commander deck so different. Like unlimited budget, I'm building that so much different than what we get for the pre-con. So this one I might actually build. I might actually take this guy and build him if I don't build the other guy that's in the set. So that's mine.
I mean, yeah, I think this is going to be really good. I think people are going to learn to either pick off Temet pretty quick or kind of board wipe the zombies and stuff like that.
That's the thing I like about it too, is commanders that draw my attention are ones that can handle. You can do a lot of stuff before it gets out. Like my Duke deck.
Yep.
My Duke deck, what it does is I'm building up. I'm getting benefits from everything having ETB effects. And then I play Duke, and immediately Duke is doing something. The same thing with this. You're getting your zombies out. You're getting your field out. You have blockers. You're doing things. And then once you feel comfortable, you're like, okay, now I can play him, and I have some draw spells in my hand. I'll attack with those zombies, and boom, you're doing not lethal damage, you're doing big damage, and then if he stays out another turn, it gets kind of out of control. So I like stuff like that the commander doesn't necessarily have to be out, but it is a key part of making the deck work and do its thing. So
for sure.
And even one more thing, if I played it and then you're like, I kill it, in response, I'm going to draw, I play Brainstorm, draw 3 cards, pump all those zombies, it dies. All my zombies still get the 3/3. So it seems like a fun card, or a fun commander. So this one is my top spot of everything, if not Hashaton. So what is your number one? Maybe not number one, but your last pick here.
Never do any of that stuff.
Your number one is the first one.
I have one that I'm going to use in my Fave 5 if you choose the other one. It's kind of like a backup type thing. But I'm going to go with Winter. Cursed Rider. Blue and a black, 3/2 human warlock. Ward, pay 2 life. Artifacts you control have ward, pay 2 life. So it's protection for artifacts in black-blue decks. Then it also has exhaust, which is 2, a black and a blue tap. Exile X artifact cards from your yard. Each other non-artifact creature gets -X until end of turn. And so it's removal, it's protection, it's really cheap. I can see this being a build around. Exhaust is not awful. I mean, it'd almost be better if it killed itself so you can replay it and not worry about the exhaust.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But I think this is a really, I think it's a cool card in the 99. I don't know how much I have, I have a mix of decks. I don't have like artifact creature decks. I have decks with artifacts. And so I'd wipe my own board, and I don't really like that idea. But I like this as kind of like in a certain deck, it's going to be a one-sided board wipe, or in its own deck, it's going to be a one-sided board wipe, and that's going to be pretty good. You got plenty of cards out there that allow you to put, if you have self-mill or sacrificing your artifacts, or you just got dickheads that want to remove your stuff, you're going to do all right on that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the artifact, giving your artifacts ward as well, I like that, adding that all in there. It has self-protection and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right.
No,
What do you think? What do you think the best way to deal with exhaust cards like Loot or Winter here are? Is just like, do you think Blink is the way to go to reset it?
Probably. I mean, you don't want to kill it, necessarily, because then you got to cast it again. So you're probably, if you're playing a lot of exhaust stuff, you're probably doing Blink stuff, But
I'm just saying for the commander. I'm not saying for like.
Oh, for the commander, yeah.
Yeah, I think an exhaust deck would be.
Yeah. If you're basing it around the commander, then I would definitely be using your Blink stuff as more of like
a protection.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was
Probably.
going to say, is protection, but then also being a reset if you don't need it for protection. So
Yeah,
that's exactly
double duty
what it is.
there. That's
Yep.
probably the best way of going about it.
And you're in
Yeah.
blue, so you got the boom.
Yeah.
Of
Same thing
flicking
with
it.
Loot.
Yeah.
Like that's a good thing. And white has some good blinking cards as well. I don't exactly know what the exhaust ones for that would be, but yeah. I mean, if you're so what is it? If you're like a black exhaust card, is that even good? If you can't blink
Yeah,
it,
right. Kill itself, sacrificing
Yeah.
itself. You do have a lot of sack stuff with the with black.
sacrifice it, and then but then you'd have to be maybe
Right.
reanimate.
Reanimate,
bring it
or I
back?
mean, but this one only costs 2, so that's an
Right.
easy one to bring
Right.
back. But still, yeah. I don't know. I'll say this: the 2 new mechanics are fair. You know what I'm saying? They aren't broken
Yeah.
mechanics. They're not mechanics that I can see them using a lot, because I don't think they're gonna, or they could, I guess, because they're not broken. But it's not. I don't think they're going to get a lot of people being like, oh my gosh, I love this so much, it needs to be in every set. Like Landfall. You want Landfall in every single set. I want Landfall. Like, Landfall is a great mechanic. Like Exhaust.
You get rewarded for playing the game right.
Right. So I don't think it's going to continue after this set. Every couple years they'll add in this stuff. But anyways, all right. So that is our top 10, our favorite Fave 5 commanders. I want to hear what you guys are going to build. So please leave that in the comments below. We're going to jump right into, I don't think we're going to have time for Stump the Smith Savant. I think that might have to get pushed for Friday at this point, because we're at an hour and we have 10 more cards to go through. So we won't do Stump the Smith Savant tonight, but it will be on Friday when we do the secret layer breakdown. So now we are going to get to, I guess I got the voice for it. Top 10 commander cards. All right, so I went first there. So now it's your turn to go first, Lowry. What are you gonna pick for your
Oh, Jesus.
your first one? I gotta get another beer.
Do you have anything that you love that I should be avoiding?
No, you're fine. Like,
Just tell it right off the bat. Is it gonna be the Great Henge? Is that in here?
I would say hit your staples, the ones that you know for sure that you want to get.
I'll do this one. I think you'll do that one. I'm okay. Let's go with this one. I'm gonna go Monument to Endurance.
I had that.
It's
on
probably the one that
my
I'm most
list.
excited for.
Yeah, I had that on my list.
Monument
Of Endurance. Get there.
2.
No, that is not the right
Endurance.
one. Oh, 2.
Endurance.
That's why. Monument
All right, so this is a 3-mana artifact. Whenever you discard a card, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. One of the options is draw a card. One of them is create a treasure token, and then the next one is each opponent loses 3 life. All quite good. Discarding 3 cards is not a hard thing. I have multiple decks this can go in. Bone Miser is a great card. Thank you. And these kind of effects that give you a bonus off of discarding a card, like Faithless Looting is a fantastic card, or Careful Study, or Merfolk Looter. They're all really, really good cards. And if this is down and you Faithless Looting, draw 2, discard 2, then draw another card and create a treasure token, that's a crazy good value right there. Like, I love it. And I think this goes in a lot of red decks. Those red cards that are like Thrill Possibility, they like drawing and discarding cards, and then you just get another bonus off of it. So that's where I'm at. This is probably my favorite card in the set.
Yeah, no, I had this on my... Oh, I got to mark that there.
And there's the red-blue shark that I really like as well. But that is
the legendary
won't be
dude?
an option. Yeah.
You can still have legendaries in there. It's all good.
I know. But I just want to talk about discounting cards and like having a benefit to it. I like that one as well, but I don't... That was my backup if you pick this.
Yeah, no, there's silly things with this, like, because you windfall kind of things, or anything where you're discarding your hand, everybody's discarding your own drawing. Like, this doesn't have to be in like I mean, it works better if you're in a discard deck. You're not going to just play this where you only have a windfall that this is what's going to happen. You're playing it with something you're discarding a lot, but there's a lot of benefit to this. Drawing cards, treasure.
If you're just in a wheeled deck, so like, is this good enough to make it a Nekasar? Maybe. There's a lot of good cards for Nekasar. But any other wheel deck, this probably goes in.
Yep. Blue decks are going to love this because the draw, discard, draw, discard, draw, discard. It's like, all right, now you just made blue draw, discard, draw a card again. Like, it's just, it makes that whole mechanic completely just silly. So, yeah, no, I definitely had this on my list. I was going to pick that as well. I'm just going to go with the big guy. Okay. I didn't know if you were going to do that right away or not. But
I was figuring that you were going to do it because we're both. This is an escalating card of like, it could be okay to like, God, this is crazy.
Can we talk about your discussion on the Discord with yourself? Because that was amazing. Because really quick, Radiant Lotus. It's a 6-drop artifact. That's huge. But here we go. You tap it, sacrifice 1 or more artifacts, choose a color. Target player adds 3 mana of the chosen color for each artifact sacrificed this way. So your conversation on I don't remember how it went. But you're like, this seems okay. And then you turn it into, I mean, I could see you sacrificing this, and then at the end you're like, this is actually a really good card. Like, this.
It's great. Well, yeah, I was like, 6 mana is kind of high.
Yeah,
I was like, but it doesn't come into play tapped.
And it
so
doesn't sacrifice
right
itself.
away.
It keeps itself alive. Like, that's the other.
Yeah.
Well, because you could sacrifice it though as part of the 3.
Yeah, you could. I don't know if you'd want. Well, I mean, why not? Technically, at the end of the turn, you're probably out of a lot of.
That's your game
artifacts.
winner.
You might sacrifice a lot of artifacts. I mean, this feels very like Clark Clan-esque or Ironworks-esque, which is a really, really good card. You sacrifice. I mean, that's more incremental, which makes that a lot better. And this is kind of a one-shot thing, but it's still like 3 mana is really good.
Yeah, and the thing is like how many artifact tokens do we have? We have what? Treasure, we have blood, we have clues, we have power stones, which really doesn't get used much.
That doesn't, but food.
Yep.
Sure.
Finally some uses for food. I'm just kidding. Food has been getting better. I fucking hated it forever, and since Lord of the Rings, it's gotten better. They just keep adding, different artifacts of tokens. That doesn't include like just artifacts in general. Anything else that you put out there, you can sacrifice your Solemn Simulacrum to get yourself draw a card and get 3 mana off it. Like, there's just it's not broken, but it seems very, very powerful. At being 6, it seems fair. Like in a commander game, of course, people are going to find ways to cheat it out, and all that stuff. But
Jesus.
Not cheat. But
you're like, yeah, you stopped yourself. And I was like, nobody's cheating our group, are we? Or am I just that oblivious?
But you can find ways to cheat this out early, but the 6 mana makes it fair-ish. But I think when this gets out, it's going to be a very broken. Hey, what's up, Scott? Not broken. Very. You got to get this, buddy.
Force walk.
Get the fuck out!
There you go. You get it. Get the fuck out.
But it just seems really, really powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a comparison to this? This almost feels like a type of card that's like Shrine to Nykthos.
Yeah.
I mean, that being a land makes it better. Again, everything that you can compare it to, I think, is better. But you're talking about really powerful cards, right? And so, is this in? I think it's a one shot. Really, it's 6 mana. Ritual, is that how we want to look at it? Like it's a huge ritual,
right? But you could. The thing is, I'm not trying to say dockside stuff, but it does big things like dockside. You know what I'm saying? Like dockside, you play it, and normally you play it, and you're using all those treasures to do shit.
Yeah.
Dockside's 2, very very easy to get out. Whatever. This is 6. But it's a setup. You have all these things that are out there, and you play this, and then it's like sack. You know, you sack 5 things. That's 15 mana right there. You know, you have 5 treasures sitting there.
Yeah.
It has a dockside feel-ish in a way.
I see what you're saying, as in like it's huge ramp, immediately going to be good when it comes down. And then diminishes after a turn or two. Like, and then it might be a bad card after 2 turns probably.
Yeah.
I want to talk about
Pick what you want, baby.
Sky Serpent Seeker.
I don't have that one on my
I love
list.
this. This is one of them uncommons. See, I'm already digging. I'm going down there. I love this card.
You know that I don't have uncommons on here. You could have saved that for the end. Wait, is it Sky Seeker? Or is it
Serpent? Sky Serpent Seeker.
Serpent. There we go.
So it's green and a blue, 1/1 flying death touch. And then it has exhaust 4. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal 2 land cards. Put those into play tapped, and the rest on the bottom. Put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So like it feels very like Baleful Strix-esque. You know, the flying, the death touch, a 1/1 for 2 mana. And then it's a ramp card. Like you know, 4 mana to get 2 lands into play tapped is a good sorcery. I mean, it's an okay sorcery. How about that? And stacking that on a killer blocker, I'm super enthralled by it. I love this card. Icefang Codal's right there too.
Yeah.
I think that's the other green blue 1/1 draw
Modern
card.
Horizons one. Yeah.
Yeah. So like those 3, I love them. I don't know what my problem is, but I really like this card.
You love your death touch flying 1/1s is what it is.
Right. It just scares the shit out of people. I do like the drawing ones better, probably. But
I was gonna
really
say
like
what
this.
it's a if it wasn't a 4, like what if it came in and did the that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah,
Never
that'd
mind.
be crazy.
But what if the exhaust was 2?
Yeah, of
Would
course
you
it's
like
gonna
that
be
better?
better. What do you want me?
I'm
if it
just
was
trying to
2
find
and go
the-
get 1 land.
No, to get 2 land.
Go and get 1 land. No, Jesus. You're
3.
just gonna make it
3. All right,
crazy.
where's
You
our
can't do
our
this.
balance? Where does it feel like it's too much?
I think it's if you want to reduce it by 2, you got to reduce it by a land, and then it's
okay.
probably.
What if it was the blue and a green? What if it was a blue and a green? Like it was color specific instead of 4 colors.
Yeah, I think you still do that. That probably allows you to keep the 1/1 counter on it then as well.
But does that make it better than drawing a card? Because right now you're saying the other ones you like better because you get the draw, right?
Well, because they're blinkable. This
That's a good point. Yep, this one you have.
that
this
is
one's-
the point that
well,
makes it.
This one's blinkable because you get to reuse that exhaust again.
But then it's 4 to get the
Right.
effect.
But you,
so
have
that,
you have 2 more mana back out there. So
I don't know what you're trying to do here.
I'm trying to fix the card to make it so that you would play.
No.
like it better.
I'm incredibly happy with the way it is right there. Like you can just, it has a little 1/1 counter that goes on it. That's pretty happy. It's a forever blocker. You can block, know that it's dying, pay 4, get 2 land into play. It's not sorcery speed, is it?
Nope.
No, just
Doesn't
only
say.
once. And so
And it's two
I
lands.
just-
It's not basic lands, so that's kind of
Right.
nice. You get to hit any
Right.
lands that the first two you hit. Yeah.
So I like this a lot. Maybe people are overlooking it, and I just want to point it out. So I like this.
All right.
I like it a lot. There we go.
I actually did not star ones that I wanted to for sure talk about. So, are you going to talk about the Gearhulks at all? Do you have Gearhulks on yours?
No,
Oh,
no, I'm not impressed with them.
okay.
Like there are 2 good ones, but the others are.
Yeah, I only have 2 of them on there. Well, then I'm going to talk about, since you don't have it, so I'll talk about something that isn't on there. I'm going to do the Aether Spark. Spark. All right, because it seems
I don't know what that one is.
it's the Planeswalker equipment.
Ugh.
You don't
I
like
think
it?
I like that. I
What?
don't think I like it.
Okay. So it's 4 colorless for Planeswalker equipment. It's what is it? Legendary. Oh, it just says legendary artifact Planeswalker equipment. As long as the Aether Spark is attached to a creature, the Aether Spark can't be attacked and has, whenever equipped creature deals combat damage during your turn, put that many loyalty counters on the Aether Spark. It deals combat damage, not just to a player, just dealing damage. +1, attach Aether Spark up to 1 target creature. Put a 1/1 counter on that creature. -5, draw 2 cards. -10, add 10 mana of any one color. I just think, like, the adding counters can be really crazy in this because it doesn't have to hit a player. It just needs to deal damage. So they block with it. And it's an equipment at that point. So even if that creature dies, this drops off of it and it becomes the Planeswalker that it is. You still get all those counters on it. So you're pumping it up that much higher. I mean, it starts with a 4 loyalty. Or it would be 5 to attach it. So you hit with something, you put it on some big fatty, and this sucker, you're getting a shit ton of mana the next turn. You're drawing 2 cards. The ultimates aren't that crazy, but they're good, and it's easy for this thing to keep going. Like, it's going to be hard to kill this thing until you kill the creature that it's on, So I think this one's kind of fun. I like that it isn't when it hits a player, you get those counters. It's just, it has to deal the damage, and you get that many counters.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it in a Heir Apparent deck where you're getting a bunch of little 1/1 bunnies. I'd put it in a bigger creature deck, where you're looking at big stompies, 4+ power going in, How
How about this? I'll take back my I don't like this. Like, I'm okay with it. I don't know if I love it.
I'll say this. When I went through the whole list originally, when I was picking out my 10, it wasn't on there right away because I was like, there's a lot of words.
It's a lot of words.
There's a lot of words, and I looked
bad
at the
I'm not gonna read
ultimate, the ultimate, and I'm like, oh man, it's -10, and you get all of one color. I was like, ugh. All right, and then I
Sure.
kind of went back to it, and I was like, why the fuck is this so expensive? So I read through, and I'm like, that's actually pretty good. Like, it's hard to get rid of this if you have it attached to a creature, unless they kill the creature. But then again, that drops off, so now you have the next person has to try to attack it or whatever, deal damage. So
I mean, they can just do creature removal and then
With that
attack
too,
the
yeah.
Aether Spark.
but again, you're doing 2 different things. You're removing to try to
Sure.
get rid of that. Now you're attacking the Aether Spark. It feels like it's a little tougher to get rid of than a normal Planeswalker. And it can go in any deck.
Maybe.
4 colorless. That's not
Yeah.
that expensive. So I just think it's cool.
How about this? I'm not interested in paying the price of it currently.
Right. $40.
How about that?
Yeah,
no
I
thanks.
could see that. So
So I don't like it in that regard. I'm
Gotcha.
gonna retract the retracted statement and state I'm gonna go back to I don't want it.
okay,
I don't
what,
want anything
at
to
what
do with-
at what
If
price?
I got it right now off the bat, I'd sell it or trade it as quick as I could.
what
There's
price?
like a
What
there's
price point would you jump in at?
10, 15 maybe.
Okay.
Like at most, I'd be not. I mean, it's going to be a Planeswalker in standard, so this will likely be above $10
Ooh,
until it rotates.
that's a
Now
cooler looking
3
one
fucking
right
years from now. So I don't know. I'm not gonna pay 40.
Yep, I can
Oh,
hear you on that.
I'm
All right,
not-
what is your next pick there, Lau?
All right. I should have probably looked that up when I was complaining. If you're not going to do it, you're going to fuck around with the gear hooks. I'm going to do Unstoppable Plan.
All right.
I gave you one chance to do it.
You do what you want to do,
untapping
baby.
stuff is really good.
Is it?
Yeah, generally, almost always.
Yeah,
I've never not seen it be awesome.
Wait, really quick.
Blue.
Really quick, Ansel's saying he'll only get it if he cracks it from a pack. And that's
But
pretty
I would
much,
tell
I'm
you
not
to trade
gonna
it for value on cards that you actually want.
Right. Oh, thanks, Larry, asshole.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. All right.
That's fine. It wasn't your number one.
All right.
Silly.
Unstoppable Plan. Yeah.
Unstoppable Plan. 2 and a blue enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, untap all non-land permanents you control. It's kind of like wilderness reclamation, where it untaps all your lands at the end of the turn, but this is all your non-land permanents. That's your artifacts, that's your creatures. Like, it's going to be doing a lot of work. What's that?
Mono rocks, all that fun stuff.
Right. So, I like it. Essentially giving your creatures vigilance, have the ability to use their activated abilities again. Block. It's all that good stuff. Open up the ramp, like you're saying. I just think it's really good. So, and I think a lot of people like it too. Holy shit, $17 card.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yep.
Dick.
Well,
that one I would keep. That's one that I would keep at that price. I wouldn't be happy about it. I'd still want to trade it down for value, but that's probably right around. It's probably 10-15.
Yeah.
So,
Anything that does the untapping all your stuff at the end of your turn is always very nice. So, yeah, no, I agree. It was on my list. Okay, I'm gonna hit up the one that I missed when doing my deck, but the price caught my eye, and then I was like, why are people really liking this? There's a reason why. So this is in the Commander deck, but it's Renewed Solidarity, and that is 2 colors and 1 white for an enchantment. And it's as this enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures of the chosen type get 1+0. At the beginning of your end step, for each token you control of the chosen type that entered the battlefield this turn, create a token that's a copy of it.
yeah.
So this is at the cheapest version is a $30 card at the moment. It's not Anointed Procession, but it's close. It's very close to that. It's a 3-drop. It's adding a front side anthem effect to all the tribe that you chose. It's very good, and it's in white. You're making tokens a lot, and it just works with Anointed Procession. You're playing Anointed Procession, you are playing this as well. If you're making tokens in a white deck, this is going to go in there.
I mean, I think you need to be in that creature type.
Right.
To put this in there,
Yeah.
to where it's like Anointed Procession will double the amount of treasures,
Anything.
food.
Yeah.
So I think that is much more versatile at 1 more mana. But if you are in this might be a little too specific in my opinion. $40 is probably a bit much, especially it'll go down.
I'll be honest with you. When I did the Commander breakdown of the deck, and this wasn't the cards that stood out to me because of that. Because it's like you're choosing a specific creature type. But the thing is we're all tribal people. We all like to pick. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times you're picking like I'm playing vampires or I'm playing cats, or I'm playing dogs. You normally are picking a certain creature type and playing it. Not all the time, but there's a lot of those decks out there. Of those decks.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the question that I would say, I think you had a good example with vampires, and like Merfolk could be a token deck, but it's not going to be.
Hackball likes it, but this isn't the wrong colors.
Right. It's not the right color, and so you're probably it probably is good in a soldier deck, a white soldier
Jenny
deck.
Faye would be good with this one. So cats and dogs.
Yeah, but that's 2 different colors, right? It doesn't
3.
matter about the color.
No, you're picking the type. So
that's green, red, white. So it's type.
Yeah.
So I it works for sure, but I think it's limited. It's quite limited, I think. You're not going to be tired of Renewed Solidarity.
Yeah. I'm not going to go out and buy this for $30. I'll tell you that.
Right.
But I think it's a card I missed when I did my. Again, I saw it, but I was like, we have something. I'm like, I'll play Anointed Procession over this. but this would go with Anointed if you're in that type of deck, if you're in a tribal deck. So that is mine. What is your next one, Lau?
I'm gonna go with I want to get it out there because I feel like it's crazy. It's not something that I'm going to play with or what I don't have a deck that it's going to go in, but Howl Squad Heavy.
What?
This is 2 in a red, 2/3 Goblin Mercenary. Has start your engines.
Terrible mechanic.
Stop. But at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 red goblin with token. Also has haste. That token attacks this combat if able. But that max speed is crazy, where you tap it and it adds red for each goblin you control.
Yeah, this one
works.
That's
the bonkers thing.
This one works because you get it's a goblin deck. Your goblins are going crazy. That's what goblins do. You're all attacking. You're going to get that max speed after 3 or 4 turns.
Right. This is an auto include in
Yeah.
any goblin deck.
Yeah.
Essentially. That is a staple for your red decks or for your goblin decks. And so, if you just have a smattering of goblins and you think that you're going to have 3 or 4 out during your deck and you're not just super heavy into it, I couldn't name a kind of goblin deck, but if that exists, that goes in there too. It just becomes a really good ramp spell in red as well. So,
I dig it.
I like it.
I dig it.
I like it. That's how I end my sentences. Just
I like it.
I'm done. I like it. Move on. Take it over.
All right, because I know you're not picking a Gear Hulk, so I will get my last one that isn't a Gear Hulk, and then I'll get to my one favorite Gear Hulk. But okay, this one is a Merfolk, but it doesn't have to be the Merfolk part. But Mindspring Merfolk is a 1-drop, 1/1 Merfolk Wizard. It has exhaust, which sucks, but the exhaust ability is pretty damn good because we have cards, instant and sorcery abilities that we do this, but it's tap 2 and X, tap it, draw X cards, put a 1/1 counter on each Merfolk you control. It doesn't have to be in a Merfolk deck. This doing itself by you drawing that many cards. You're in blue as well, so being able to bounce this or whatever, and it's a 1-drop. It's easy to keep doing this over and over and over again. So the tapping 2 and X it's what most blue spells do when you're doing the X stuff. What is the what is the one? It's an instant one where you draw X. It's the same thing, but it's an instant speed spell, and at the end you discard. So you draw the X cards and discard. That one I use all the time. What is that? It's
Pull from Eternity?
Yes.
No, that's a white one.
No.
But it's close. It's really close to that.
Pull from Tomorrow.
Yes.
Pull
There we
from
go.
Tomorrow. Yep. I use that one all the time. That one's a great card for blue at instant speed drawing cards, And that's what this is. Exhaust is at instant speed. You can do it anytime you want. You get this guy out there. Yeah, it's great in a Merfolk deck. It's going to go in my Hackball deck. But it can go in a lot of blue decks. This just seems really good. And
it feels like they really tossed that 1/1 counter on each Merfolk creature. That did not need to be there.
Right. I think they did that to be
At all.
hey, put this in a Merfolk deck. It should be in a Merfolk deck. Don't put it in anything else but Merfolk because you want
We're
that
gonna
1/1
guide
counter.
you over this way.
But I mean,
Please God, don't put it in every deck possible.
Right.
In standard.
And so that's actually originally when it went through the list, and I'm like, I like it, but it feels like it's a Merfolk. And then I was thinking about it more. I'm like, no, you're drawing cards. This is easy. This goes in any blue deck if you want to draw more cards. It's just there. So I dig it. This one's one of my favorites. Lowry, you have one more pick left.
You said you're gonna go Gear Hulk, right?
Yeah.
So I will go Full Throttle.
Good. I'm glad you got that one. I fucking love
it. I know. I was hoping you would pick it. I could talk about one of my other uncommons, but no.
I'm glad you picked.
You just
that
keep
one.
on skipping cards that I know should be talked about.
I love this one.
Okay, Full Throttle,
Thank
4
you.
and 2 red sorcery. After this main phase, there are 2 additional combat phases at the beginning of each combat this turn. Untap all creatures that attack this turn. One
So
card that
good.
gives you 2 extra attack phases. You're going to get 3 in that turn. That's pretty good.
That's
That's
really
pretty good.
And for 6,
Yeah.
I mean, we have the what is it? The other ones are like 5. You know, like the whatever assault. What is it called? Something assault. It's the sorcery one as well. It's 2 red and 3. Like that one has.
Oh, there's relentless assault, which is 4 mana.
No, there's
and then you have the instant with entwine that gives double strike.
That's the one I was looking for. Yeah, that's
okay.
the one.
That is something assault.
It has like a dude with like a metal arm, like shredder kind of thing, punching or whatever in the air. Yeah, and that one's pretty sweet as well. Like this one giving you 2, like that's ridiculous. I love this card. I'm so glad you had that.
They've really ramped up how many extra combat
aggravated. Thank you, Ansel. Thank you.
Aggravated assault.
The beer is getting to my head at this point. The 8.3% alcohol is hitting me, so my memory is.
You just don't worry about it. You're not a savant. You don't have to be.
I wish we could do.
Just kidding.
Savant
I'm not
tonight.
one either. Have you seen me play this damn game?
We got Savant on Friday. Friday Savant, guys. Okay, so yeah, Full Throttle. I'm glad you got that in there because that was one I really wanted in there.
Just feels like a good card.
Yep.
It feels like probably like a fair Aurelia, the War Leader. Like that one goes into a lot of my decks, and I'm just like, God, this just turns like the game really long. Like you can get real aggressive with it. So that is a problem with extra combat phases and everything. Like all the triggers or damage triggers or
there's so many decks that deal with the like every time that there's an extra combat, because my main deck that I have that with is the Zender Split in Okun. So like anytime you're starting that, you're flipping coins. And so this giving you 2 more, like I'm like, that's an auto include in that deck. So yeah, I'm really glad to put that one there. All right, the last card that we have here, and it is Riptide Gearhulk. Now the problem with the Gearhulks is it's the double of each color, so that's a little bit more difficult. But this is 1 colorless, 2 white, 2 blue. It's a 2/5 construct. Double strike, has prowess, and then when this creature enters, for each opponent, put up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. So just great removal ish. Putting it on the top, it's kind of nice adding that in there. So I really like this one. The other one I did like was the searching for CMC 1 or less, but I like this one as you're hitting every player. You're not killing it, but you're putting it 3rd from the top. So you're at least not seeing it for a few turns unless they draw and stuff. So I dig this one a lot.
Right.
So yeah.
That could be a trouble one. Like if you're blinking that one,
that's the other thing. If you blink it,
yeah, that is a good one. I agree. That's I probably like that one the most.
I mean, it has prowess built on it, so it's like, well, that wouldn't work because you blink it, it doesn't get the 1+1. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, blinking this thing could be silly. So I'm glad they brought the Gearhawks back into the picture with stuff. I don't know. Do you use any of the other Gearhawks, the OGs?
What is it? They're all really close.
Yeah, the red one I have in a deck or 2. The black one I have in a deck or 2. But I don't think I play the blue, and I don't play the green or the white. Well, the white maybe because that's the removal one, right?
Yeah, white's probably the one that I don't.
Yeah, I don't have that in a deck.
The blue one ends up being a little too expensive for the instance that I'm playing too much of. Like, it's very specific. And the green one's not bad. Like, I think I fitted into Shalai and Halar when that was out last year. Or 2 years ago, maybe, at this point. But yeah, they're all close. I think they're really good. They dominated Standard for a long time. Sure. Do I think... And that's why they adjusted this mana. There's like the 2 blue, 2 green, or 2 white, or whatever.
Make it a little more
so
difficult.
adding those 2, making it a little bit harder to play in Standard is what happened.
Yep.
So,
all right,
not a bad one.
Do you have honorable mentions you just want to throw out there and not pull up, or are we good?
We're at an hour and a half.
Okay,
we're good.
All right. Well, everybody, we want to hear what you guys, if you had your top 10, either your commanders or your top 10 cards, what your list would be. So please put that in the comments below, because I do want to see what everybody else thought. Again, I'm not hating on the set. It's just the mechanic stuff kind of threw me off a bit. And as you noticed, neither one of us did not pick a vehicle. I had one on my list, but I didn't pick it.
I had one as well.
Which one?
Whenever you discard a card, get a 2/2 zombie.
Oh, okay. I had the Lumbering World Wagon, which is the ramp vehicle one. Yeah. You're like, I don't even know.
I don't know.
But yeah, please put that in the comments below. I want to see what you guys think. If there's something we missed, maybe there's something better than I thought.
That happens.
Yeah.
That
So,
happens.
all right, gang, that should do it for not just this week. We're going to be on Friday, so make sure you guys check us out on Friday live, 9 o'clock. But yeah, that should do it for tonight. We will catch you guys on Friday.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
I love boobs. I'm talking tatas.
Yeah,
love
Festival
boobs.
in the
I'm
Box
talking
is
honkers.
gone.
I
That one did sell
love
out
boobs.
within a
Thanks
couple
for the
hours.
memories.
Adam got some.
love
I did not.
boobs.